guys, Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure, Armadillo. He is, of course, a part of the Spider-Man No Way Home wave, or self-titled wave, the Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave. He is, of course, the Build-A-Figure of said wave, and to be honest with you, that's kind of weird because as far as I know, or at least going off what I've heard in other reviews, this guy was more or less a Captain America villain, not so much a Spider-Man one. But we have had that happen in the past with characters like Absorbing Man, Stilt Man, and I'm sure a couple others. But this is the most recent addition to our Spider-Verse collections as far as Build-A-Figures go. And you guys know me, I'm always down for a really good Spider-Man wave. That said, we haven't really had a really solid comic book Spider-Man wave since, I think, the freaking Lizard? The Venom Pool wave was really, really good. And the Demo Goblin wave was really, really good. As well as the Monster Venom and Sandman waves, but those are all fairly old at this point and a little bit on the pricey side as far as the secondary market goes. So yeah, the Kingpin, that was another pretty decent wave of Spider-Man figures. So I think it's high time we get another really, really, really solid Spider-Man comic book wave. I think we're due for another one. What do you guys think? I know we're getting the retro card stuff, but I'd like one with a bath, preferably. A man-spider bath, preferably. That said, this guy's no slouch. I actually really like this guy. He is a little tricky to stand, though, and I have had trouble with this foot on mine. You can see when I do that, it's very loose on the pin, and it appears to be in all the way. But that's probably for the best that it's like that, because it makes it a little easier to, well, I guess it's not that bad. I don't know, it was a little bit worse earlier, but it does allow me to kind of hinge this foot up and kind of straighten it out so he's easier to stand. This side I kind of got to push on a little bit. This side I don't have to do that. So it's okay, I guess. It's not ideal, but it kind of helps with getting him to stand up, because he is kind of tricky because of the lack of ankle articulation, or just the hindrance. It's there. It's just super hindered because he's got all this armor going on. He's a little tricky to stand. Not gonna lie. That, or maybe this foot's just gummier than the other one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's nice and tight as far as the rocker goes when it's pushed all the way up like that. So that's how it's going to stay on mine. Other than that, I didn't have any issues with this guy. Both wrist hinges worked fine right out of package. I didn't have to heat them up at all. I will say, if yours does have stuck wrist hinges, carefully pop the hand out and heat that sucker up, because he has very, very small pegs in there. I'll even show you on this side. I think this side's a little... yeah, it is. Very, very tiny pegs. So you're going to want to be careful with that. But other than that, pretty decent bath. I love the size. The size is awesome. He's super chunky. That said, I don't really care for this armor piece on the back. I think if anything, they could have had some pegs on the shoulders here, or the traps, so the collar piece could stay down. And they could have took some creative liberties and had this kind of shoulder piece attached to the bicep here, and then had this kind of going over this back plate. I think it would have looked fine aesthetically, and it would have allowed you to pose him up a little bit better, and it would have looked a little bit more natural. But that's really my only major gripe, other than the kind of lack of range in the ankles to help him stand a little better, even though mine is clearly not having any issues whatsoever. Really decent bath. I really like this guy. He's super chunky, super solid. I would like to see an abomination or something on this body. That'd be really, really cool. Maybe could have used some paint. It seems to me like he's got some skin tone that's peeking through on the inside here. And that should be painted, but I could be wrong. Seems to have some shading, subtle shading throughout, so that's better than nothing, I guess. But as far as articulation goes, his head is on a ball joint. And I say that because while it is on... Popping off here. It is on a double ball peg. And there is some wiggle in there. It's so deep in the neck. Like way down here. Probably in his chest even. You're not going to get any range out of that, I don't think. Not even with some heat. I've heard people heating that up and it not moving still. So it's just, that's how it is. I don't think there's any way around that. Hopefully they fix the engineering. Maybe have that ball peg a little bit higher. There's no need to put it that deep in the neck. You get no range that way. But that said, he does get nice side to side. He does get a little up and down and some tilt, despite not having any real range in that neck ball there. And if you really want him to look up, you can always pop it off and half it or use some blue tack or something to have it look like he's looking up. As far as the shoulders go, you can move them out. You can move them just fine, but it's going to lift this piece up. So that's why it should have maybe had some more pegs that went into the traps here. I don't know. But it would have been better had these shoulder pieces been on the biceps, because they would have moved up and out of the way and with the shoulder here. So yeah, you can just see it just kind of hikes up that armor plate anytime you do anything crazy with the arms. So you're really just limited to having his arms like this or like this, only moving them out maybe half to a quarter of what they can actually do because of that. So that kind of sucks, but whatever. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a single joint in the elbow. I will say this elbow on mine was super tight on a package, but I of course did get it to move without breaking it, so that's nice. It does of course have the swivel and hinge in the wrist. Diaphragm joint. I'm getting sick of these diaphragm joints, to be honest with you. These kind of one peg going into the torso and then it doesn't do anything at the top. If it does something at the top, it's a little bit more sturdy. You don't got to worry about breaking it as much. So please put a swivel or something in the top, so that way I don't have to just kind of shimmy this around to get it to move. This guy works fine. I did put some lubricant in there and maybe some hot water, but I did lube this guy up quite a bit before I got him to move this fluidly. My Ursa Major I don't think moves that well. Hold on, let me check. He's sitting right here. He's a little tighter, but yeah, he's still got some notches in there, whereas this guy is just kind of butter smooth. So there is that. Then his hips, they do kick forward, they kick back, they kick out, they kick in. He's got a thigh cut. He's got a single joint at the knee, which works fine, and then a hinge in the foot with a rocker. Again, you're really going to want to push on the feet to get them up so he can stand without issue. Because really, that's the only thing going against this guy is the feet. The feet are kind of a pain in the neck, especially this one on my... This one doesn't seem to want to be Mr. Weeble Wobbles as much anymore. Maybe I got it sitting in there a little better, but I'm not really that worried about it because it's going to be sitting like this most of the time anyways. Let's be real. He needs to stand. I don't pose the crap out of my figures like some of you guys out there that are a little bit better at it, to be quite honest. I mean, I'm no slouch, but some of you guys, it's like, geez. It's like there is an art to it. I respect that, but jeez. At the end of the day, I'm just happy this son of a gun stands. because he was kind of toppling over here and there. But at any rate, I do really like this Baff. I think he's one of the better Baffs of the year. I think he's really, really cool looking. I definitely think I like him more than Ursa Major, even with that little foot issue. And that's just an isolated incident on mine. I don't think that's on all of them or any more than just mine. So, take that for what it's worth. This figure is still really, really solid. I really dig him. And I'm excited to see what else they can make with him. I know Anthony's Customs would like to see a Chode, or whatever his name is, the weird big green guy. He's part of the Starjammers from X-Men, or X-Force, or whatever it is there. I don't know too much about deep cuts like that. I just know that Chode's a funny name. It's hard to forget. Well, with that being said, let's now take a look at some comparisons. First up, here is our completed Armadillo Build-A-Figure next to all the figures in this wave that came with Build-A-Figure parts to quote-unquote complete this guy. We have Shriek, who came with the torso, Doctor Strange, who came with the head, the Game Reverse Miles Morales, who came with the right leg, Morlun, who came with the right arm, the gold and black suit Spider-Man that came with the other leg, the left leg, and good old J.K. Simmons, a.k.a. J. Jonah Jameson, came with the left arm. All things considered, as I said before in the J. Jonah Jameson review I posted the other day, I didn't have high hopes for this wave really at all. I don't have much attachment to Armadillo as a character, and there wasn't a whole lot of comic stuff in here, which is which boy likes the most when it comes to his Spideyverse Legends waves. But at the end of the day, I gotta tell you, this is a really fun wave. A lot of stuff going on here. Only dud really is the gold and black suit Spider-Man. I still think he should have come with some fist hands instead of grip hands and nothing to grip onto. I know he does use those hands in the scene that the suit is used for specifically in the movie, but unless I miss something, there was nothing in the package for him to hold on to, so therefore no real need to put those in the package. But, with that being said, that aside, the rest of the figures in this wave are all winners in my opinion, even pissed off and mad about it Dr. Phil over there. So, what are you going to do? Again, I'm hoping that we do get a comic book-based Spider-Man wave with a comic book-based Build-A-Figure at some point in 2022. It is the 60th anniversary of the old webhead, after all, so it'd be nice to get another really solid comic book wave with a Build-A-Figure. Gonna stress that. I know we're getting the retro card wave, but I want a Build-A-Figure wave with a Man Spider. That's what I want. Up next, here he is, next to a couple of my favorite Build-A-Figures from the Marvel Legends line. Came out in 2021. We have Ursa Major, who's actually taller than I thought he was. I could have sworn that Armadillo was a little bit bigger than this guy, but it seems to me that they are on par. That said, the Ursa Major's articulation is still a bit clunky. It's not ideal. But then, to make up for that, we have the Age of Apocalypse Colossus, who I think is absolutely fantastic. He was in my top 10 Legends of 2021 list/video, so go check that out if you haven't already. Posted that about a week ago now, so yeah, I didn't have Armadillo done for that video, but I think Colossus still would have edged him out. Getting Colossus out of here though, because he's a bit of a shrimp next to these two. Setting him off over there. I do want to see how this buck scales with the Hulk. Oh yes, I will take that. I think the legs could be a little longer, because they are a bit stout here. But if they made the legs just, a quarter of an inch longer to get his height up here, which I don't think is asking for too much, and slap that Abomination head we got in the, well, he was first in the RAF set, but he was released as a BAF later in, what was it, the second Civil War wave? Because that was the Civil War year, the year that movie came out. They released 2 waves for it. If they just reused that Abomination head and just gave this guy some slightly longer legs, maybe make the thighs here a little bit longer, maybe the lower legs, I don't know. Make something here longer, just so he's shoulder to shoulder with this Hulk body, we'd have one awesome looking Abomination figure, and A-Bomb for those of you who want that too. I know we haven't got him yet in the Legends line, so that would be good too. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, and Spawn, who is not towering over everyone today. Sorry, Spawn, but the Armadillo has dwarfed thee. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do understand that this is not the most perfect figure by definition, I think he could have had a little bit better articulation because he is tricky to stand at times, and maybe some more paint apps. And even better yet, I think the armor plating on the back and the shoulder pads could have been better implemented as far as engineering goes, because since this is an action figure, it is meant to be posed. You guys know how them ACBA guys get. You know they pose the crap out of these. It's very difficult to get this guy in a really awesome pose without kind of jacking that up back there. So it would have been nice to see some improvements as far as that goes. But with that being said, I think this is a really solid base body for a Build-A-Figure, and I'm excited to see what else they can utilize it for. I was thinking maybe an updated Abomination or A-Bomb to go with our new 80th anniversary Hulk body figures. I think that would be the next best thing. This is wishful thinking too, but I'd really like to see a Dark Nemesis / Holocaust from Age of Apocalypse, maybe utilizing the arms and legs from this buck. What do you guys think? I know he had some sort of paneling like this, but maybe I'm wrong. I very well could be and probably am, but wish in one hand, crap in the other, see which fills faster, I guess. I just really want a new Nemesis figure, because that old Build-A-Figure, while it is cool, it's kind of pricey, and the quality of the dome on it's kind of crap. It just kind of breaks fresh out of the package, which I'm not a fan of. But that said, this is a really decent Build-A-Figure, and if you wanted an Armadillo, I think it's a decent enough representation of the character if that's what you wanted to put on your Legends villain shelf. So with that being said, I would recommend him for that reason only. And I think he's fun. I think he's really cool looking. I like a nice chunky Build-A-Figure, and this guy definitely fits the bill. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one, because we got to show that algorithm who's boss, right? If you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil. This world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.